Hey guys, Anyone Extreme RT here with another little video. Now, this kind of video I do usually once a year or so, sometimes twice a year, but anyways, this is going to be a Q&A video. Usually over the course of a year, I see a lot of the same questions get asked a lot of the same times in a lot of the videos. And I just, this morning, I got bored, so I just wrote down all the questions that I could remember from YouTube. And within about 5 minutes, I had a list of like 15 or 20 different questions that I can vividly remember because they're asked all the time. So in the process of answering all these questions for you guys, I am going to, I'm working on re-leveling my hardcore wizard for Diablo 3. Seems how it died last week, as you guys noticed from that video I posted, but I'm getting back up there again, level 61, almost level 62, so I'm going to go do some bounties here and whatnot while I go through all these questions. So, first question. The main one I get asked for all my riff videos is, what spec am I using? The main spec that I use in my videos is going to be my Nightblade Assassin DPS spec. Now, you can find all of those builds in my Storm Legion Rogue Builds playlist. So if you just search for my playlist and look for that one, you will find all the specs that I use on my Rogue. And I do also have some mage specs in there and some other random stuff. So that is the main question I get asked in my riff videos. Now, secondly, what kind of dog do I have? If you can't tell, he does look like a pit bull, and he does have bulldog in him, but he's not a pit bull specifically. He's way too big for a pit bull. Purebred, if that's what you want to call it, pit bull terrier, or American pit bull terrier, they only get up to like 60 pounds. Unless you do a lot of like genetic work on them. But my dog is actually a mix of like 9 different breeds, and the actual breed is classified as an American Bull Molosser, which specifically it's just an overgrown pit bull. It's like twice the size of a pit bull and looks like a pit bull, but it's bred specifically to be like a family dog, a really nice family dog type thing, and that's what I have. And that's why he's such a big meathead. That's why he's, well, I mean, pit bulls in general are well behaved. It all depends on how you raise them, but mine is bred specifically for that. So, next one, what cars do I have? Well, I post a lot of videos of a lot of different cars, and most of them are mine. One of them is my 91 Dodge Spirit RT that I built. It's 40 pounds of boost, alcohol injection. I got about 12 grand into the motor of that thing. And it's just a beast. And I actually got it for sale on Craigslist. I got it up for only 10 grand, which is less than the appraisal on it. Other car I got is my 2013 Dodge Challenger RT Hemi. I actually traded in my 2006 Dodge Charger RT Hemi for that car. Obviously, with the trade-in, I owed still like another 30 grand on the Challenger, but nonetheless. And that's about it for all the cars that I own currently. I used to have a 91 Mustang Fox Body GT 5.0, and I used to have a 74 Dodge Charger with the 440 big block in it, muscle cars. I restored that. I actually sold that car about 3 months before I made my YouTube channel, so I don't have any video of it. But anyways, next question. What was my military MOS? As a lot of you guys see or hear me mention in some of my videos, is that, you know, I mention a lot of military stuff or whatever. And my main military MOS when I was in was 15 Bravo, which is helicopter power plant repair. Pretty much I repair all the turbine engines, the turboshaft engines on the helicopters. Mainly Black Hawk, Chinooks, stuff like that. So, next question. I get this asked a lot, and a lot of people are apprehensive about me answering it, I guess, or they don't want to like invade my privacy with it, I guess you want to say. They ask me like what injuries I all sustained and whatnot, and just to keep it vague, because the list goes a lot longer than this, back injury, hearing loss, and form of PTSD. So I'll just leave it at that because, no, I'll just leave it at that. Let's see. What guns have I all had? Well, my first one I bought was an AK-74 Polish Tantal with the Y-Series code on it, on the serial, which was the improved and upgraded barrel for it. And then I got a M53 Mosin Nagant. It's a Chinese Mosin Nagant variant. and it was my carbine, my sniper rifle that I built in some of those videos, and it's actually the gun that I use to set off the explosives in that explosive watermelon video I did, where I stuck a pound of explosives in a watermelon and blew it to shit. So I got a Springfield Armory XD45 ACP handgun. I had a M92 AK-47. What that is, it was actually considered a handgun because there's no stock on it, and it only had a 10-inch barrel. But the rest of it was straight AK-47. It could take clips or magazines. It could take drums. It could take 75-round drums. It could take everything. It was a full-framed AK-47 that shot AK-47 rounds. But it was on, short like a handgun, if that's what you want to call it. That's what the state of Wisconsin classifies it as, is a handgun. And with my concealed carry license that I have, I could legally concealed carry that gun with a 75-round drum on it, and still be within, legal regulations. So it was a pretty badass little gun. And my newest gun that I got was my my NPAP. What the hell is it? I got the Serbian papers right here. The Zastava. Oh god, I got it already. Oh yeah, Zastava M70. Oops. I can't believe I forgot. Yeah, that was a really nice gun that I picked up for really cheap. It's not an AK-47 polymer stock, polymer frame, but it's actually built on an RPK or Yugo style chassis, so it's a very hefty AK-47. It's a lot heavier than normal. But, if I'm going to buy a gun, it's going to be a tough son of a bitch, so, that's why I picked that one. And it's just kind of badass. You do get a lot of weight reduction with not having wood furniture on it, or like a wood stock, wood hand grip, stuff like that. But, just the size of the chassis itself, having an RPK chassis on it, just heavy in general. So there's no real getting away from the weight issue on that gun, especially when you have a loaded mag on it. So anyways, next question here. Let's see, I got written down here. What's my favorite game genre and games? Well, my favorite genre in general when it comes to movies, TV shows, games, everything is probably medieval fantasy. I love the medieval theme, and, fantasy is just fantasy. I love history too. I'm a big history buff, but if I'd have to pick, it'd be medieval fantasy, and I would probably have to put that in comparison or tie it with war and racing simulators. And with each of those categories, I'll list a couple of games that specifically I mean, like Battlefield series, especially since like Battlefield Bad Company 2, where they have pretty much physics in the bullets and stuff, and drop distance and whatnot. It's pretty much a war simulator versus games like Call of Duty is just a shooting game. There's no realism to it, other than maybe the graphics. But when it actually comes to the combat and shooting your weapon, I like a challenge. And with the racing simulator, I would have to give that to Gran Turismo. I've always been a huge Gran Turismo since Gran Turismo 3 was actually the first one I played on PS2. And I just love that game. What other games do I like here? I would have to say Rift, obviously, as an MMO. Elder Scrolls Dragon Age Origins, the first one, with all the expansions. That was a badass game. I can't emphasize the epicness of that game. I would highly recommend it to anyone to play Dragon Age Origins and all the expansions for it, because it's just, I love it. It's fucking awesome. There's nothing else that I can really compare it to. I mean, it's just one of those games that come through the stream every now and then that just is of epic proportions that it's hard to compete against. Kind of like Diablo 2. Just one of those games that's just badass. You can't really explain it. So, other games would have to be Resistance, the Resistance series for PlayStation. It's amazing. Like, people can say what they want, but you know what? When it comes to gameplay, online, the size of the maps, the online multiplayer, 32 versus 32 matches and everything, like, it was pretty much a competitor for Halo on Xbox. Halo was a PC and Xbox, what do you want to call it? It was, I'm stuck in a pool of acid. There we go. It was Xbox's, I can't even think of the word now. Now I feel retarded. It'll come to me in a second here, but exclusive. There we go. I figured it out. But in my opinion, Resistance was 10 times the game that Halo was. The story was better in Resistance. The online was better. The gameplay was better. It was just a better game. So that's why I like that. Baldur's Gate series. Now, I never played the PC version, but I'm talking about like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance for PS2 and Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. Those games are freaking badass. Like, I don't know how many hundreds of hours I got into that game, but it's an insane amount. And just so you guys know, all the games I'm listing aren't games that I've played once and I'm like, oh, that's a really good game and never really touched it again. These are all games that I've beaten multiple times, at least 4 or 5 times, and have a couple hundred hours into. Not, do one playthrough at, for 8 to 10 hours, one playthrough, then, maybe one more, another 8 to 10 hours, so like maybe 15, 20 hours of gameplay on these. No, there's a few hundred hours of gameplay in everything I'm listing here, so, my opinions are well founded on the fact that I played the shit out of these games. And the Key Warden's gonna die. Come here, Senor Key Warden. Other games, I already mentioned Gran Turismo, Twisted Metal. Now, a lot of people really never heard, especially younger generation, never heard of Twisted Metal or Vigilante 8. But those of us old-time gamers know exactly what that is. It's a badass upgrade your car with missiles and blow the shit out of other cars game. It's a really fun game. It's just one of those other games that's just epic, and which is why, like Twisted Metal, they're bringing it back for, or brought it back, I should say, for, was it PlayStation 4? I believe it was, or maybe even PlayStation 3. But that's a really badass game. There's entirely too many birds flying around me right now, so I'm going to take care of this and get rid of all these nests. Let's see what other games I got here. Final Fantasy X, I got written down here. Now, that game I like. A lot of people are like, oh, Final Fantasy VII was the best, or 8 or whatever. But you know what? I don't like text boxes. Like, I don't give a crap. I don't want to have to read the entire storyline. If I want to read the entire storyline, I'll read a damn book. So for me, Final Fantasy X was the first version where they imparted CGI and they had real voice acting in the game. And it made the experience just that much better and that much more immersive. And I prefer it over any other Final Fantasy game I've ever played. It was just a really good game. It was a really good version of it, or episode, I should say, or whatever you want to call it. Installment, there we go. I'm stuck on a wall. What else I got here? Mario Kart. Nintendo 64, Mario Kart. I don't need to explain. Same with Perfect Dark for Nintendo 64. I don't need to explain why that game's badass. It just is. It speaks for itself. Now, Wolfenstein 3D. Now, this is an interesting game due to the fact that... Oh, I'm getting lasered. When I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I'm talking like mid-90s, I watched my mother actually play Wolfenstein 3D on PC, on Windows 95, and that's pretty much what got me in the game. It was watching my mom kill Nazis with machine guns. And as funny as it may seem, it's kind of funny considering my mom has her master's degree or doctorate or whatever. You wouldn't think she'd be playing a game like that, but I used to sit there for hours in a chair next to her watching her just mow down people and stabbing dogs with knives and stuff, so it was kind of fun. Let's see, what other games I got written down here. Need for Speed Underground 2. That was a good racing game. I just liked it. Snoop Dogg's version of Riders on the Storm of the Doors was just a badass song for that game, and I don't know, it was different. It was different than any other Need for Speed game that I've played. It just had its own aura to it where you can never get sick of playing. There was so much stuff to do, and it was one of the first actual open world racing games, and it was just really fun to play. Those of you that have played it know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to that game. So let's see here. The next thing I got on the list would have to be Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now, I've You know, I still have yet to do everything in that game. Like, I've done probably 95%, but I know there's still stuff that I'm missing, still secret holes in the ground that I gotta drop bombs on that I've missed. But, I mean, the game is just so immense that, you know, you could just get sucked into it for months on end and still not have everything done. It's just one of those types of games that, you know, it can do that to you, and those of you that have played that game know exactly what I'm talking about. Another game that's actually kind of newer, and actually started off as like an indie type game, is, I should say, Minecraft. I've played the shit out of Minecraft, and I actually have an entire Minecraft series where I've built like this gigantic, like colossal medieval town, and with everything in it, along with the giant ass eagle on top of the main tower in the center of the town, and it's just badass. So if you guys are interested in that Minecraft stuff, like I have a big Anubis statue too that I built, and it's all in my Minecraft playlist, so go check that out. Now, to get on to what state or what country do I live in? Obviously, you can probably tell I speak English, but, you know, my lingo's American, so obviously I'm from the United States of America. As for what state I live in Wisconsin, and yes, I love cheese. I put it on my sandwich every day for work. Yes, I love brats and sausage and bacon. Actually, who the fuck don't love bacon? And hamburgers and everything else, anything, and all the stereotypical things, except for beer. I really don't like beer. I prefer, you know, whiskey and Pepsi or Captain and Coke over beer, but all the rest of the typical stereotypical stereotypes for Wisconsin, I adhere to, I guess you could say. What was I in college for? This doesn't get asked often, but it got asked enough to where, you know, I remembered the question. So, let's see, am I going the right way here? Probably not. Nope, I have to go up. I went to college for A&P mechanic and for machine tool. What A&P mechanic is airframe and power plant, which is to be a certified FAA aircraft mechanic. And machine tool is for machining, like lathe, mill, CNC, stuff like that. How old am I? I turn 27 next month, actually. Actually, in about a month from now. I'm not quite sure the exact date today, but it's about a month. I turn 27 years old, so I'm not young and I'm not quite old yet, but you know, with my injuries from the military, I sure as hell feel old some days. Let's see, what's the next one? What are my PC specs? Oh boy. In any of my recent videos that I post, including this one, you will find in the description of the video, if you click on the Show More tab for the description, you will see all my PC specs listed in there. So just go take a look at that, and you'll have your answer. See, how often do I do giveaways? Now, I don't do giveaways real often on average, but sometimes I'll give multiple things away in a month. Like, when I got all that Razer gear from Swifty, I gave away most of that all within a month. Except for that StarCraft 2 bag. I gave away about 2 months after that. But on average, I would have to say once every 3 or 4 months I give something away. You know, I don't make a lot of money off YouTube. I make enough to pay my electric bill to run my NASA computer. But it's not much more than that, but I do use that money to do giveaways, like my current Rift giveaway that I'm doing. And I'm probably going to give that away, not this weekend, but probably the following weekend. I'm probably going to be doing that giveaway for that soul pack for Rift. Let's see, what is the greatest thing I've done on YouTube? Now, the way the question was actually asked that I got in a PM was, they were probably asking, like, what was, you know, like my favorite video that I've done, but I'm going to take it at a different angle here and say that the most, like, enjoying thing that I've done for the most enjoyment for YouTube would have to be when I got invited by Swifty and Dara McTire to make Rift videos for Swifty's channel. So I spent many hours on Skype with Swifty, going over scripts and everything, and you know, recording video footage and compiling stuff and working with him and doing a collab with him and actually doing a face-on-face video for Rift with him. And that was actually really fun. That was a really good experience. And at the time, I only had 900 subscribers, and I was just amazed that someone as popular as him recognized my channel and asked me to do videos. And, you know, I was more than happy to do that. I mean, it was just something that I wasn't expecting, and ever since then, my channel kind of took off in that aspect. So that's the next question here. Future YouTube plans. Now, my future YouTube plans is to keep having fun with it, and as long as good games keep coming out, I'm going to try to get footage for them. You know, I do have a full-time job. I do not make enough. I'm not partnered with nobody to make enough money to do this as a full-time job. But once that day comes where I am able to sustain enough, you know, average income, then I probably will do it full-time. I'd be able to do more Let's Plays. I'd be able to do content for all the games that come out. Or, you know, if game companies want to, you know, let's say, lend me a copy of their game, or say, this has happened before where a subscriber actually gave me his username and password for Minecraft, so I can make Minecraft videos. And actually all my Minecraft videos were made off of that guy's account that I've done. So, I mean, that has happened before where people send me stuff for games and I make videos for it. Other than that, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Make videos. Have fun. And that's about it. Next one. How to get well known on YouTube. You can work as hard as you want to get at getting known, but the best thing that you can do for yourself is don't do it for money. Do it because you enjoy doing it. If you do it for any other reason, the videos that you do are going to come off as kind of fake and pretentious, and people will be able to tell, and the quality of the content just isn't as good. And you can just tell. It's like a bad actor in a movie. You know, they're a bad actor. You can tell that they can't play their role correctly because they're faking it, because they're doing it as a job. They're not actually taking it apart, you know, the character. So, as long as it's something you enjoy to do and you work hard at, I don't want to say attention or fame, but, you know, the recognition will come over time. I've had my channel for 4 years now, and I've only been doing it seriously for 2, and I've gotten 6,000 subscribers already, which is pretty phenomenal. I mean, I average between 70 and 150,000 views a month the last, like, year. And that is very, very good for a channel my small. So as long as you enjoy what you do and just keep making videos, it really don't matter. Why the hell am I here exactly? Oh, I killed that dude already. Well, let's go kill Tree Fest. Next question. My favorite books. Easily, hands down, my favorite books are the R.A. Salvatore books in the Driss series, the Icewind Dale trilogy, the Legacy of the Drow. All the R.A. Salvatore books are my favorite. And in all actuality, I build commercial windows at my work, so I start with the raw 14-foot sticks of extruded aluminum, cut it down, machine it out with the hydraulic punch presses, and build the frames, etc., etc. And it can get pretty tedious as I do 9-hour days. So I actually got all of the R.A. Salvatore and the entire Driss series books and all the ones in between, including the new ones, all on audiobook format. And I actually have them on my cell phone, and I listen to it while I'm at work. And actually, I started doing that. I've had the audiobooks for a couple of years, but I started listening to it at work as of about 2 weeks ago Monday. So over the last 2 weeks at work, I've gotten through the first 2 trilogies. I got through the Icewind Dale trilogy and the Legacy of the Drow trilogy in 2 weeks. So, and it makes the days go by so quick. And I got this done. So, to any of you people that work long jobs and you enjoy books, try to get it on audiobook and put it on your cell phone. As long as you're allowed to have headphones on at work, you know, I would go for it, because it makes a day go by so quick. It makes the weeks go by so quick. And in all actuality, you can't wait to go to work the next day because you want to continue on with the book. I mean, because it's a damn good book. So it makes it work more enjoyable. So I would give that as advice to anyone that's out in the workforce. Let's see here. Favorite YouTubers. My favorite YouTuber, hands down, would have to be Boogie2988. Most of you might know him as he plays his Francis character or his Jesse character or any of those, the Francis Rage videos and all those. He is phenomenal. Just as a YouTuber, as a real person. He does a lot of like mental health awareness stuff and talks about, you know, just a lot of real life stuff and a lot of his life experiences, along with doing his, you know, comedy skits that he does. And, you know, he is one person that I have been subscribed to since he's had about 200,000 subscribers. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I've been subscribed to him. And right now, he just got astronomically famous over the last 2 years, actually year, I should say. And I'm happy for him because I've been following him a long time, and you know, he's just one of those people that, you know, have a good heart and they know what they're doing, and everything that he does is sincere. So I am going to move to Bastion's Keep now and start doing some stuff here. Now. Other favorite YouTubers I have, I would have to say Swifty, or John, as I know him. As I've said before, I've worked with him on the riff videos. I've spent hours upon hours on him with Skype, going over stuff and talking with him. And a lot of people give him a lot of hate, but a lot of people haven't had the opportunity to personally work with him as I have. And I can say that he's just a really nice guy. His personality in his videos is his personality as it was when we were talking about and working on our collab that we were doing. I mean, the person you see on his videos is how he is. He's just a nice guy. He's just straightforward, honest, nice, and everything. And I really don't care what no one says. You know, I've had a phenomenal time working with him when I was making the riff videos with him. So, let's see, another one. This is kind of an odd one, and it kind of goes all over the place, and it can be, I wouldn't say controversial, but it would go against some people's beliefs, I guess. But I get asked every now and then my favorite, like, say, life heroes. And I would have to say easily, hands down, it's Neil deGrasse Tyson, Stephen Hawking, Christopher Hitchens, and Sam Harris, George Carlin, all those guys. So, and you know, if any of you guys know any of those people, you'll know why and exactly what I'm talking about. So, other than that, my favorite shows would have to be Spartacus, Cosmos, Game of Thrones, Tudors, Vikings, Defiance, Ink Master, Hell's Kitchen, and MasterChef, Gold Rush Alaska, and Deadliest Catch. And that pretty much sums up all the questions that I've gotten, so hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later.